It's the old language. As my grandmother was born in Siberia, and she went there, or her parents went there during the time of Tsar. They were offered free land, and they went. The same thing happened to many of Estonians and Finnish who migrated to Siberia, and they had villages. And I have a grand uncle, so the brother of my grandmother, who lives in Moscow and does not speak a word of Estonian, and he was born in Siberia. And I watched this documentary 2 weeks ago of Estonian Finns, or Siberian Estonians and Finns, and they were speaking the old language. The documentarist went there and started talking in Finnish to them, and they responded in the old language. And some of them said, yes, I'm a Est, other one said, I'm Suomalainen, another one said, I'm Eestlane, but they all mutually could speak the same language together. So it's really interesting to see how language is developing, and when we are speaking English in this very moment, during times of Shakespeare, for example, maybe you have heard or seen some plays of Shakespeare. They are speaking this beautiful British accent in modern days, but actually it was different language they spoke 600 years ago, and it was more similar to our language. It had like rrr, and words were pronounced in a more similar way than we pronounce. And many words that are in English and German and in Russian are actually derived from the old Finnic words. Like the best ones are kuningas, kuninganna, king, queen. And king, kuningas, king is a shortened version of kuningas. Queen is also kuninganna, kuningriik, kingdom, that they started changing. Language changes throughout the space and time. But let's get to our main point, which is vocals. So we all have voices, and I have done sound healing sessions to people who are deaf, who cannot hear, and they have had exactly the same sensations as people who are able to hear. So it doesn't matter, are you able to hear the sound or not, your body responds to it. And when we are living in the cities or in the places where are high levels of noise, our bodies are actually affected by it. They're feeling this vibration. Like when we were living in Pirita, and in the summertime there were motorbikes, and it was like plus more than 20 degrees, 25, 30, whatever. The motorbikes were rolling all night long on the road, on the Pirita Day, and we were just 300, 400 meters from the road. And it was just that my wife could not relax, because she's really sensitive to the sounds. Like in the middle of the night, happens something. So we are really affected by the sound, and when I'm talking to you, your vocal cords are resonating with mine. So we are creating a resonance. So when someone is singing and we are affected by it, like someone is singing a beautiful opera aria, and we cry because our body is vibrating with that sound, and it opens up closed doors, I might say. And the same principle is with the law of resonance, that the device that is more attuned, or that is more powerful, I would say, someone who has got a really powerful voice and starts speaking with you, you start getting better. Or for example, there's a band playing, and for example, someone invites, for example, you to play bass guitar and you have never played bass guitar, suddenly you are able to jam along with the band because they support you with their resonance. Same is with if you have two large clocks ticking, or a small clock and a large one, and the large one is like tuk tuk, and the smaller one is like tuk 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 tuk, and suddenly the smaller one starts harmonizing after the big one, tuk 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 tuk. And same is with a voice. When we are using our voices, we are actually affecting other people. They start following us, following the idea that we are contributing to their mind. Or when we are making simple sounds like other person is starting to feel this vibration. When I went to my first course in sound therapy 11 years ago, the course was called Open Your Heart's Voice, and I was like, wow, cool, I want to sing and play guitar. that was my dream during that time. And I went there, and there were gongs and crystal singing bowls, and we started doing different voice exercises. We started projecting the voice and humming, and then we had this exercise when one person is standing in front of another one, and the other one, the one that was down in the lower position, had to ask for help. Palun aita mind, tõmba kinni ja lase alustada. And another one said, no, hey, no. And most people who were asking for help got such hint of rage that they started screaming and throwing the pillows. That was really interesting exercise, how much rage we can have within us when we are feeling this feeling of helplessness. But then there was this really powerful exercise in the course when we had a person who laid down, and then everyone else put their hands up over the person and started humming. And it was channeling the healing energy from the hands into another person. It was really powerful because the resonance that came from the voice just relaxed the body and gave this sense of well-being. And throughout the years I have done other similar exercises that have been really profound and powerful, and I'm going to demonstrate some of them to you. And the funny thing is, when you are doing those vocal exercises or vocal practices, you do not have to know in the beginning. You just have to have this desire. For example, when I started singing overtones, in the beginning it was like, it was really muddy, I would say, and it was not clear on singing vowels. Oh, later I understood, there's a difference. But when people were listening, they still felt this sensation of relaxation. My first ever session with the person was that she was a music teacher, and I said, I'm starting to do sound therapy. So she came to my session, and the first thing I started singing to her, like, and I was totally terrified, like shaking, like, oh, music teacher. And by the end of the session, she was like, wow, I did not know that music can do something like this to me. Astounded. And then I realized that there is something in the voice. And when I was with a group of people learning how to make vocal paintings. For example, you are doing the sound of the sky, you are doing the sound of the sea, and I'm doing the wind, and together we start singing like, and create the paintings, vocal paintings from our imagination. things that we want to express. And then we did also group sessions of only singing and using drums to people. And the main focus was we were doing vowels. It's really simple. The only thing that makes you good at it is practice. So a group of people came in front of us and we started singing like some 5 minutes of just vowels. And then you go to the overtones. The funny thing is, sometimes I sing to my child that she could fall asleep overtones, and she begins to do mudras with her hands when she's listening to overtones. Like, that there is something that the overtones affect this primal consciousness in our brain.